What's up, y'all? Today we're talking about the Los Angeles Angels, one of the weirdest constructed teams in the past few years, one of the more disappointing teams in the past, maybe even forever, because this team has superstars on superstars. This team has the offensive players that you think would be a World Series roster. Everyone knows they have bad pitching. Why didn't they go after Trevor Bauer? Why didn't they go after Taijuan Walker, another guy who was a free agent this year? This team is such question marks. They've already had bad stuff with like Mickey Callaway worked in the organization. This is one of the weirdest and one of the probably worst run organizations in baseball, and it sucks because they're wasting generational baseball talents such as Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani. Let's get into it. We already talked about Trout. Trout has been in the league for I think 10 years now and has made the playoffs once. He got 3 games in the ALCS against the Kansas City Royals and they got swept. Just completely disappointing. This is one of the best players of all time, and every single year I cheer for the Los Angeles Angels to make the playoffs because I want to see Mike Trout in the playoffs. It's like if LeBron James never made the playoffs. Baseball, because Trout isn't, what's the word? Trout, there are slightly negative connotations toward Trout because he doesn't make the playoffs, but people don't blame him because people realize baseball is a team sport. Unlike basketball, where LeBron can take over a game and have 35. Now, the title of this video, the Angels tried to build an NBA super team. We see NBA super teams such as the Brooklyn Nets, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. We saw the Golden State Warriors from a couple years ago. They had Steph and Clay and KD and Draymond. This team, they tried to do that with Trout, Ohtani. This was Ohtani's first year of really being that guy. And then they brought in Anthony Rendon 2 years ago, and Rendon is off to a terrible start this year. I kind of want to go through this offense because this offense is actually pretty damn good. The emergence of Jared Walsh has made this offense even better, and that's why they got rid of Pujols to give Walsh more minutes. Or playing time, I guess. So you got Kurt Suzuki at catcher. Max Stassi's been better this year. Max Stassi has a 130 OPS plus. The average player has a 100 OPS plus. You got Jared Walsh at first, 140 OPS plus. He's great. David Fletcher has a 77 OPS plus, but he brings that defense. In the past couple of years, he's been a great contact guy. Jose Iglesias, 86 OPS plus. He's another defense guy. Rendon has a 93 OPS plus, a 712 OPS. Just an absolute disappointment this year. He was my second overall pick in fantasy. I think I drafted him around the 20th range, and just complete disappointment for me this year. Justin Upton has a 118 OPS plus. He's having a resurgent season. Then you got guys like Taylor Ward, Juan Lagares. That's normally Trout in there. Yeah, so that's kind of about it. So the lineup's good. The lineup's really good. Justin Upton adds to that since Trout's been out this year. But currently, with their pitching, they only have one pitcher who has under so their best pitcher this year is Shohei Ohtani, because Shohei Ohtani is that guy, 3.6 ERA. And then you got your next best starting pitcher being Alex Cobb with a 4.60 ERA. That's terrible. So that's why this team currently sits in 4th place, 9 games back of, I'm pretty sure it's Oakland in the first in the AL West. The rest of their rotation has Andrew Heaney, 5.40 ERA, not good. Dylan Bundy, after a breakout 2020, he has a 6.5 ERA, near 7. You have Griffin Canning, who's on the, he's had a weird career, I guess, but he's got a 5.6 ERA. I mentioned Cobb with the 4.6, Ohtani with the 3.6, and then Jose Quintana, their one free agent pickup this year, has a 7 ERA. So just absolute pretty bad. Their other bullpen pickup was Raisel Iglesias, who's having a Raisel Iglesias season. He has a 3.52 ERA. Mike Myers broke out a little bit in 2020. He's got a 4.28 ERA. Not great. So the bullpen's not great. We went through this. The pitching's not great. Pitching's the name of the game in baseball. Any good team in Major League Baseball right now has good pitching. That's just how you have to win. Mike Trout is signed to the Los Angeles Angels through 2030. So he's going to be there for the next 9 years unless they trade him. And I really think if they didn't make the playoffs last year in the expanded playoffs, they're not going to make the playoffs this year. They're too far away from the division. I mean, only 9 games isn't crazy, but I don't think they're going to jump past Oakland or Houston. And then you got to deal with all the stuff of the wild card, and that's just an absolute mess right now with teams like Tampa and Boston. Well, Tampa's going to win the division probably. Boston's going to win the division actually maybe. Just absolutely crazy. What are the chances Mike Trout asks for a trade? He goes NBA mode and demands a trade. Like we see some guys like, I think it was rumors Damian Lillard might request a trade. What are some other ones? James Harden requested a trade out of Houston. What are the chances that Mike Trout, what are the chances he spends 20 years for the Angels and makes the playoff once? I mean, they don't have that great of a farm system. Joe Adell's coming up. I mean, that's kind of about it. What are the chances Mike Trout actually requests a trade, and what would that trade be like? He'd have to go to a team that could take on his salary. That sets some parameters, and then sending back, you probably have to get back near all-star. If he was to get traded in the next couple of years, you probably have to get a near all-star level player, and then probably a couple of good prospects. Maybe like what am I talking about? Joe Adell's on the Angels. You have to get probably an all-star level player, and then a couple of good prospects for Trout. The all-star level player would definitely have to be younger, and I could see him going to a team that's really looking for. I'm not sure if he'd be a trade deadline push, but it'd kind of be like when the Dodgers got Mookie Betts, like just kind of a massive trade, and they sent back Verdugo, Jeter, Downs. Those were two prospects at the time. Really, Verdugo had started his rookie year a bit. So, what are the chances Mike Trout really asks for a trade? That's going to be something to really kind of monitor the next couple of years if the Angels still can't make the playoffs, and he's only made that one playoffs. So that's kind of it. I mean, Shohei Ohtani is just doing it all. 31 homers before the All-Star break. I think he has a 3.6 ERA as a pitcher. Crazy. Before this, he was kind of struggling in his. He was only doing one. They said he was only going to pitch. He was only going to hit because he was he was just average at both, which I mean is still impressive. But this year he's turning into a Babe Ruth season. So that's kind of the video. Shout out Jared Walsh. He's been a big breakout guy for the Angels this year. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I'm praying the Angels make the playoffs in the next couple of years because everyone wants to watch Mike Trout in the playoffs. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully the Angels get some pitching, and I'm out. Peace.